We back.
We're
We
here.
are back. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Come on in.
Hello,
Let's.
everyone.
Oh, today's date is the 18th. Uh, we
We're
almost done with
almost
this
through.
month.
I know. You said it
Yeah.
went by slow. I think it's going by super fast. I think
I
this
want to.
year has gone by too fast. I haven't caught a grip on anything yet. So
Well, last month was slow for me. This month it's the shortest month, so it's going by super quick. So
so
Yeah,
yeah, it's a lot going on.
I mean so fast. It's too fast.
it is
So
fast. If you
I
guys don't
don't
mind,
go
share
ahead.
the tag. Yeah, share this live tonight. Share and tag some friends. And Jarvis, we go jump into it. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're gonna get into it pretty quick. We all know right here. We've been having candidates on all since the year started because we got primaries coming up. Excuse me. Um, this past Sunday, they had the candidate forum with the NAACP. We streamed it through our channel. They hosted it. It was a great event. Pretty much all of the candidates showed up for except for a few, which is still a great thing just to have all of them there. Um, but on the plus side, we got Mr. Larry Joyner with us tonight. He is one of the mayoral candidates for this round. And we are now getting to it, like you said before. You guys make sure y'all share and do whatever y'all need to do. Um, Tag your people. So we don't want anybody to miss part of it. But what we're gonna do is what we've been doing all the time. We're gonna bring him up, talk a little bit, then we're gonna let him get his why and give his spiel about what made him want to be there. So we about to get past Mr. Larry Joyner. I'm so used to saying Pastor Joyner. I'm sorry, but Mr. Larry Joyner in here. Let me get him arranged. How you doing tonight?
All right, how are you all doing?
Good evening.
Good
Good
evening, good
evening. So happy
evening.
to have you here.
Glad to
We're
be here with you
excited.
guys.
We're excited.
Okay, so look, so we ain't had you on since last year, and
Right.
I think somebody might have asked in the comments last year, "Were you gonna do it?" And you said you gonna think about it. And here we are now in 2025, and you must have thought about it enough, and we're here.
Yeah, I did. Thought about it a lot.
I'm sure it takes a lot. I'm sure it takes a
it,
lot to convince yourself to do that type of thing.
it does. It takes a whole lot.
And so what we'll do, man, I don't know, especially usually we have announcements, but this week kind of got biased. If anybody has any announcements, you can drop them in the comments and we'll make sure to put that up on the screen so people will know um what we got going on and what you guys got going on if you got anything coming up. So um without any further ado, like I said, we know this is gonna be a big show, so we're gonna let you kind of get into it. Like you said, we started last year and maybe started further back for you. But how did we end up where we are now in this year with you deciding to run for mayor?
Well, I never do anything, especially something this important, without having heart to heart talks with the Lord. And once I felt I had the answer, then so I then committed myself to it. It's I know that it'll be probably an uphill battle, but I'm in it to win it. Um, I've been in uphill battles before, so here I am. And tell me when you wanted me to stop talking because I will.
No,
You know,
go ahead, man.
the
This your
last
time.
the
Run it, man.
last
This your
time
time.
the last time I think it ended up with like 17 votes short. As if I'd had 18 votes or 19 votes, I would have been mayor this past 4 years. But it hurt me a little while. I kind of disappointed in myself, not the people. I was disappointed in myself because I didn't think I did a good job campaigning. I didn't think that I reached enough people or convinced enough people to vote for me. But this year, um, it'll be all out at the end of this month and beginning next month because I want to reach as many people as I can. And being the first time even involved in politics like this, it was a lot of things that I missed that I should have got. I should have been more strategic in it, and therefore having information is the best thing you can do, because I found out that this is a numbers game. That's what it is. It's all about numbers, and if you can get your numbers right, then you have a greater chance in occupying the position that you're seeking. And it was numbers, and I went on paper. I didn't know nothing about numbers. I didn't know anything about demographics, being choosy about demographics. Nothing. I was just all out trying to be myself, and that's what I was doing. So I blame me. I don't blame anybody for not voting for me. I blame myself. I was disappointed in myself. But this year, it's all out. I'm trying to do my best to do what she said. What have you done differently this campaign
Yeah,
than last
yeah.
campaign? Okay, the first thing I did was last time. As soon as I qualified, I was out there. That's what I did. As soon as I qualified, I was out there knocking on doors. I was out there. I spent money out of my pocket. Um, um, Last time I spent, roughly I spent about $3,000, $4,000 out of my pocket. I had a few donors, and so that's what I did with that. But I never asked anybody for money. And this year, I've found out the strategy is in talking to people that have run for office and won that are not in this city. The strategy is to keep it fresh on the people's mind. And the only way you can keep it fresh on the people's mind is you have to go not early, but find a jump off point. And that's what I found. Because if you go too early, the people gonna forget it. They're gonna forget the goal. They're gonna get the date. And so if you start close to the date and do as many as you can close to the date, that's what I'm doing different this year. Uh,
And you guys technically have that end of the year run
right,
because it's not the same because y'all doing citywide.
right,
So you guys won't be decided in April.
right. Right.
Okay,
We
okay.
will not be decided in April, and that's confusing to a lot of voters. They'll look on there and see, well, the last time I ran, they saw, well, he got more votes than the other opponent, and even got more votes than the sitting mayor did. And so they didn't think they ought to go back because they said he won, but they didn't go back. So the primary and the general confuses some people. It does, and I'm being honest with you. It does because they said, "Well, I thought you won. That's why I didn't go back." That's what I heard a lot of. But if you're listening here this evening, it's 2 times your vote. That's the primary, which is in April 1st. And then there's a general, which is June 1st. And so you got to go and vote both times. I have no opponent now in the primaries. Now I have no opponent. And so if I can get you to come out and vote to show force, to show that, we can do this, I can just come out and get you to come out and vote in April 1st, then the guy that I'm running against, he'll see that, hey, these people mean business. And then come back in June and vote again. Absentee ballots is important. Get as many people as you can to vote absentee, because that's some parts where you lose your fight is absentee. Um, and bringing riding people to the poll. I intend to bring my vet out. If you want to ride to the poll, I'll ride you in my vet. I'll ride you in my truck, in my car. I'm going to bring my vet to the church, and that's be our staging point. Where you want to ride to the poll, I come pick you up in my vet and ride you to the poll. But we got to get them to the poll.
Some type of way, something's got to
That's right.
happen, and we've had a big issue with that just citywide,
Right.
just from mayor to aldermen to I don't care what it is that we voting for, and we talked about it a lot on here.
Right.
Roughly about 40% of the town votes.
Right.
Of 11,000 people, roughly about 40% votes.
40% votes, and that's sad. And but it's up to us. It's up to me as a candidate for mayor and whoever else the candidate Jennifer. It's up to us to get them out. We've got to get the people out. You've got to get them out. And citywide, I'm not going to sit here and say that I need only the black votes. I'm not going to say that. I need all votes. I do. I need all votes. I need folks to vote who are in Ward 4 and 5. I need folks to vote who's in Ward 2 and 3. One, I need folks to vote. I need folks to vote for me. And I'm not afraid to go and knock on them doors because I did. I went and knocked on doors in Ward 4, Ward 5. Anywhere that was I thought was a voter, that's where I went. We got my daughter put up there. She got the golf carts. Yeah, we got golf carts too, 4 wheelers. We're gonna get folks to the poll.
So let me ask you this, and this is a theme that's been talked about at meetings way before this. When people say, we want a mayor for all of Brookhaven,
Right.
how does that sentiment strike you, or what do you think, you know what I'm saying, when you hear something like that?
Because I will be a mayor for all Brookhaven. I will not just be the mayor for one side of town. And please understand, I'm not putting down on anybody, but that's where we've been for so long. That's where we've been for so long. It looks like some folks don't count. Some communities don't count. And some people in these communities don't count. But I'll be a mayor for every community, everybody. I have an open door policy. You know, one thing I'm discovering in watching and being involved with it is transparency. Transparency is an issue because some of the people that comes and speak at the meetings on Tuesdays when they come to speak, and I've been researching and I saw where you get no response from the board. None of the board members. When somebody come in and say, "My problem is I had a light pole or my trash or the issue here, blah 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 blah," they just sit there and look. It's no written rule that they can respond. That's not being transparent. You can respond. Your mayor can respond. Your aldermen can respond. They can respond. And a lot of things are being done in our meetings. I saw it, looked at it, and so I asked questions around. I'm on questions till I find out the truth. And the thing is some of the things that the folks were mentioning can be discussed, but they don't. Because it seems like to me they don't want folks stand there and make a fool out of themselves. If
And
I ask you a
and,
question, I expect an answer.
and
Um,
we've seen that backfire at times, as
correct.
far as with Mr. Roy. You know,
Right.
these things can take off and take a life of their own because
Yep.
you let him speak, and it sounds funny, but it gives them a platform, it gives people time. And sometimes even our own the community takes it as a joke and don't understand the severity of what's going on because he's asking for something from these people.
Right. And the part about it is, as a mayor, you control the meeting. I know the board of aldermen give policies. They're the one to make policies and procedures, but the mayor controls the board meeting. And a leader knows how to control the board meeting. And before the meeting gets out of hand, the leader, the mayor, ought to be able to say, "This is what we're going to do, and we can get back with you tomorrow, the next day, next week." That'll come all that. Instead of just letting them talk, then never say nothing back to them. There's some things that I've observed. There's some things that I know concerning that, but I'm not going to do it here. But we've
Of
got to
course.
be more transparent. That's all.
So
Transparency is the thing.
speaking of the transparency issue, and that's been an ongoing thing too. This came up, and some of these questions I'm probably going to regurgitate stuff
Mm-hmm.
that already been talked about,
Okay.
but not here at this moment.
Right.
Um, if we're talking about transparency, a lot of these executive session meetings,
Right.
I can remember watching board meetings, they last an hour. Now they 20 minutes,
Right.
15 minutes. And then
Right.
the rest of it is all executive session. Is
Right.
that something that you feel that's necessary, or I mean, I guess kind of how do you feel about that? The shortening of the meeting to the public.
Right. Well, my thing is personnel matters has to be dealt in executive session.
Mhm.
Let me say that again because I missed a word. All personnel matters ought to be dealt in executive session. I'm going to say it one more time. All personnel matters ought to be dealt with in executive session. Now, that don't mean that you come out and go just walk on out the door. You ought to reconvene or to let the people know this is what happened in executive session, so, and this is what we decided. It's about being transparent, or tell the newspaper something to be transparent. Don't just walk out and say, "Well, what happened?" We don't. Why we can't know what happened? Uh, um, that's about being transparent and then honest with people. Being honest with people. Um, um, you know, just aldermen sit in the board of aldermen sit in budget meetings. They do. They know where the money's going.
Mhm.
Matter of fact, some of them, I believe, that makes out the budget. They know where the money is going. They know where the money's coming in from. Most of the money coming in from, and they know where the money is going. So when people stand there and ask, even an alderman, well, why we can't get this, tell them we didn't budget that. It's not in the budget. Don't just sit there and let folks just stand there and go, why you can't? Why like Forrest Gump, done knocked on the door and just walked up to the door and never knocked. Just tell them that it wasn't in the budget. This item was not in the budget. Hopefully, next year or the next, we can put it in the budget. If it and then let us see, is it going to benefit the entire city? How much is what we're going to do for that? Is it going to benefit the city? Not just you because that's what you want. Man,
Right.
I pastored the church for 30 years. I've been pastoring the church for 30 years. This is my 30th year pastoring church. And we do budgets. And our budget is not small. But we go by, everybody turns in the budget. That's what we do. And we have them stick to that budget. That's it. And when that money's gone, it's gone. So if you're a leader, if you're one of the ministry leaders, you know how much you got in your budget. That's it. And that's what we ought to be transparent. Everybody ought to know. Man, you just can't do one side of town. You got to do both sides of town. You got to cover all of Brookhaven, not just mayor for some, but mayor for all. And that's what I plan to be. I have an open door policy. When I say open door, I mean it's open. You can come in, sit down, let's talk. That's it. Let's see what we can do. Because my thing is, if I'm since I'll be voted by the people, I ought to work for the people.
Let me
And
ask you this. Oh, I'm
okay,
sorry. Go ahead.
go ahead.
No, what
And
I was going to say is it anything kind of at the top when you say that? Is it anything at kind of at the top of your agenda for the entire Brookhaven that you want to see right off?
sure, safety. Safety is the main concern. Look, uh, guys, I was a police officer here in Brookhaven. I was a police officer when we didn't even have bulletproof vests. I was a police officer. I was a police
Mhm.
officer here, and I started here working in Brookhaven at the police department. I was making $975, $925 a month. That's what we was working with. Went to the academy, got out, graduated the academy. It was 1125, 1175 a month. That's what we was making. And so safety and our safety net when it come to Brookhaven has gotten out of hand. We got to put safety back. And the only way you can put safety in is who you elect as leader or who you appoint as leader. Now, we got to appoint a leader that has the community, the city in heart. That's what we need. And jumping up because I like the person shouldn't be, but I want to let you know now the mayor has no vote. He has no
Right.
vote.
Right.
The board does all the hiring. And so I can present, I can give my opinion, but I can't make the board hire the person. So and my intention is not to me for go out and choose the chief. Bring somebody. I want to be able to sit down with some board members, one or two, three, and say, look, let's bring this person in and talk to them and see how you feel about
And that seems like a logical thing, because if we're electing the smartest people we think, or the best people we think, um, it should work easily, because you're gonna pick the best candidate.
it. Right,
Okay.
right.
Um,
So,
Mr. Thibodeau,
right.
go ahead. Go ahead, Zane. You got it.
He said it's good to hear. It seems like people don't want to move here or put businesses here because of that exact reason. And we're talking about safety. I know one of Ms. Wiltshire's question was, what about something for the troubled kids or all kids? So do you have something in mind for the children and the youth of Brookhaven?
Well, one thing I've understood about troubled kids is you got to get them to come. Whatever you put in place for troubled kids, you got to get the troubled kids to come. Because most of the time when you put something in play, most of the time are the kids that are not troubled show up, but it's the troubled kids that don't come. And so you got to brainstorm with people in the community. I'll be a community mayor, a city mayor. You got to get people from every community, bring them together and brainstorm. What do y'all think we can do? Let them. I can't fix the problem as mayor, but the people can. They can help fix it. So let the people help fix it. What can we do to bring in something to help troubled kids? What can we do? And then I'm not talking about good kids. We're speaking about troubled kids. What can we do? And let the communities with an S come up with situation, come up with ideas, and then allow them to present it to the board. When I was years ago, we had a program called Competitive Community Program. That's what we had, and it was people from every community. It'd be more than one or two. It was a bunch of us. They go off, and they have facilitators to come in, and the facilitators will talk about different things, and they would all come up with, and we all came up with plans and programs that would help our community, help Brookhaven, that would help Brookhaven as a whole, because we was mixed. And so after 3 days, I think 3 days, 3 days, 3 nights, come back to Brookhaven, present it to the board. They put some of that stuff in play. Man, that's using your people in your city. That's letting the people help us. That's letting the people help the board. That's giving the people some, hey, look, this is our community. This is our city. And the voters are now doing this. They're the one making decisions. They're the one bringing it to the board.
Okay, we had a
This is
question. Oh,
okay.
I'm sorry.
What that?
What'd you guys, Andrew?
I have J. Marie Global hosts huge kids events. How can we draw more troubled children, I guess, to that event? How do you see us drawing, making that event attractive to more children in our community?
Well, the first thing is children are not going to, troubled children are not going to go. You got to seek their parents.
It's true.
You got to knock on the parents' door. You got to get some information about the parent and talk to the parents. Sit down and gather the parents and talk to them. Let us help with him or her or them. You got to talk to the parents. And so we talk about kids, we talk about the troubled kids, but it's the parents we need to talk to get them to come. That's how we draw more troubled kids in.
And that was
Okay.
your next question.
Yeah, you hit it right off.
Mm,
The
You
yeah.
kind of already answered.
next question is, we often talk about troubled kids, but we often forget that there's a parent behind those troubled kids that may not have the means to correct that behavior. What can we put in place, or what can be put in place to help the adults correct that behavior of the troubled child?
Again, you use the people in your city, the citizens, the taxpayers, the voters. They've got to feel like they're a part of the decision making in the city. So you got
I
to
like
get
what you said.
you got to
And
you got to
so,
get the parents. You
mhm.
got to get the parents involved. And so what you do is you set up, and everything you set up ought not cost you a whole lot of money.
It should.
Man, you can. Let me tell you something. If churches think that this program will work, they'll commit to giving to have financing. You understand what? If businesses say that this program will work, think this program will work, they'll commit finance to it. You don't have to always stamp that the city need to pay for this. We got other
Right.
resources. And then
Right.
even now, it's some people in Brookhaven that are magnificent grant writers. We can still get grants, regardless of who in the White House. They'll still do some things. And
So
so that's where
so
we are. Yeah, I
so
talked
let me
there. I
slide
talked her
this in.
there.
Let me slide this in too. Jennifer, what have you seen in doing those programs? Because it's growing every year.
Right.
So
Mhm.
what have you seen at the youth explosion that seems like it's helping some of the more troubled kids come in?
That's what I was going to ask Mr. Larry to just expound on the visibility. He said one thing that was very profound to me. He said that I'll be a community mayor. And so I just kind of, the visibility to be boots on the ground, to be approachable, to show the young kids that I'm just not pastor. I'm
Right.
Mr. Larry too. However, you meet the children where they are. And so I
Right.
just wanted him to talk about what he's even seen in how does that make a difference? How does that transform the community? Because that's what I've seen, Jarvis. Just, when St. James came out and you had the deacons out there, they were the deacons, but they didn't come as a deacon. They came as, Brother Larry or what's your oh God, Alan, brother Alan.
Mm-hmm.
They came
Right.
and they were shaking hands and hugging the young men and young
Right.
ladies, and so just being visible. So, Pastor, you can talk about
Right.
the visibility
Uh,
and how that's important.
1 second before you start,
Okay.
Mr. Maccabee,
Right.
if you get ready to have that conference, man, you're more than welcome to come on in March and let us know. I mean, right before the end of the month, we can get that
Right.
announcement out there and help you push that, man. That ain't no problem.
Right. Rev McAbee's got a good program we finna start with that. It's great. I'll be there. If Lord let me live, I'll be there to participate in that program. Some of my deacons I know will be there. Some of the women of our church will be there. Man, you got to be, it's about being vocal to say this is what we do. And then visible is what we need to do. We need to show people that we are here. Just because I'm elected mayor don't mean that I can't put on shorts and walk out there and be with those children. I could play
Hmm.
kickball. When I was teaching the DARE for the Lincoln County Sheriff Department, I played kickball with every class, sometimes 3 or 4 classes a day, maybe more. I played kickball with them. That's what I did. In full uniform, I played kickball. I played basketball with them. Uh, you got to let them people. You got to be inviting, approachable, as you said. And so men, and then you got to let folks know. I don't care who they are, what walk of life they come from. You got to let them know that they're valuable.
That's big.
If a kid know that they're valuable because you're visible with them, that's something. Yeah, you'll see the difference in them. Um, and so my intention. I think the original question was I'll be a Brookhaven. I'll be a mayor for all of Brookhaven. That's what I'll be. All of
So,
Brookhaven.
a big focus has been the east side of town for the black community.
Right.
What can you see for the east side of town, as mayor?
Well, the first thing we've got to do is have you ever noticed a person, whether male or female, if they want to attract somebody, they change their appearance?
Hmm.
You don't see them. You don't see them out in. I mean, somebody that's real. You don't
They're
see
gonna
them
clean
out
themselves
in.
up.
You don't see them out in dusters, house coats, flip house shoes all out. You
Bonnets.
bonnets. You see them. You see them dressed up.
Yeah.
You see men with their shirts in or pants creased or shoes just right, clothes just right. They make themselves attractive. In order to attract, we've got to be attractive. That involves some things we have to do on the east side of town, and that's clean up some stuff. And not just one time. We have to keep it clean. Folks on the west side of town, in some areas, pretty well keep their stuff clean, even down to the yard manicure. We've got to do better than what we are. We do. I want you to know now, when businesses come into town, they don't stop at. They don't just go to the mayor's office, and they don't just go to just ride around Brookhaven to see what. They go everywhere. They ride around all over town. That's what they do because they're looking for some things. They're looking for how neat this town is, how clean this town is. Do these folks are they committed to helping their communities and areas fixed up? They take all that into account because we found that out in the competitive community program. And then they want to talk to workforce about workforce. They want to do all of that. And if they figure that if not, it's not worth their time to come, they ain't coming.
Right. Um, what about housing? We see a lot of people saying that people are moving out of Brookhaven, but
Right.
they're not necessarily selling the property. The property is sitting and going dilapidated,
Yeah.
unused.
Yeah.
Um, we've heard different solutions about
Right.
finding people, code enforcement. The code
Right.
enforcement is not enforcing the code.
Right.
All of that thing, kind of, where do you fall on some of those things when you touch on housing?
Well, you have to get a good code enforcement people with a good understanding. And it starts with the alderman. That's where it starts at. And the alderman ought to talk to the people. These people elected you. And since you can come there and be eloquent in your speech about why you running for the office and why they need to vote for you, be eloquent in telling them about that. Then write letters, then get all the addresses you can, code enforcement, then send out letters to these people and tell them they got so many days. We've noticed your property. Your property is this way. Here's pictures to show. Uh, can you help us help you fix this up or clean this up? Uh, it's about you draw more flies with honey than you do with salt. And how you address it. You got 90 days to clean this up. No, I'm gonna rebel now. So you got to do it in a way that will get them interested in hopefully moving forward and taking care of property. I saw where they talked about cars in the driveway that broke down, not moving and all. Your code enforcement got to be up to par on how to deal with that situation. You just gonna give a person here you the code enforcement officer and then no instruction.
Mm,
You know what they're gonna do? Nothing. So you got to get laws. You got to tell them the laws of Brookhaven. The aldermen set those laws. That's what we do. The aldermen set those laws. Here's the code for this. Here's the code for cars. Here's the code for houses. Here's the code for mowing yard, clipping yard, even though a house is not there, keeping the property down. These are things that the Board of Aldermen does. And then the mayor makes sure that they're carried out. Yes. And so,
So
go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say. So what I gather is that you are open. I mean, you're open to it all, but you're open to what your aldermen are bringing to you. You're not open to just shooting them down or making their ideas or their desires or their wants like invalid, but it sounds like you are open to, because their aldermen are going to bring what they have in the community.
Right.
And so from the community, your aldermen and get it. And so it seems like what I hear is that you're open to what your aldermen are going to bring to you, and
Correct.
you're for, okay.
Correct. You know, if someone come to me and say, Larry, man, I'm gonna pick up trash. I'm gonna pick up the trash on district. You know what I'm gonna do? Get you some help and go get it. But if I see you fail in that area, then I come back and say, hey man, what happened to you picking up trash? How can I help you do that? You understand what I'm saying? What you need some more help? How can I help you do what you said you can do? That's what aldermen are. That's what aldermen does. They know their community. They should be around in their community. I don't know the community. The mayor probably wouldn't know the community like they do. And in my case, I probably do, but they don't. But they're the ones that brings it back and said, this is what we need. I'm not gonna sit here and say, we can't do that. No. You know better than I do. So what we need to do? With Miss Mayor in your board meeting, Miss Mayor, I got such and such, so and so, such and such, so and so. Okay, let's sit down, let's get together and see how we can work this out. And that's being a leader. Because I might bring something to the table and ask, can we do this? That's why what you need is you need a good city attorney.
Yeah.
You need a good clerk. And you need some office workers. Because, see, I don't know if y'all understand, it's more to it than what we've been shown. Because you have to balance that budget every year. That's a necessity. And these folks are mighty important to that. That's what the mayor being there doing. Hey, making sure that we can keep this budget balanced. Because if you know, in your household, if you get more going out and coming in, it's going to be an issue. All right?
Correct.
Right? And so you got to do that. And so this is where these people help. My thing is, let's work together instead of against each other. Man, if I need some help, I ought to be able to pick up my phone and call an alderman. Say, man, look, Miss so come to the office. I need some help on something. I need some help on the decision. Well, that's what we hired you to be the mayor. No, I need some help on this because this may be beyond me. You can give me your opinion about where you think we ought to move, how we ought to move on this. You understand? That's being a leader. Even though I might know where I'm going, but somebody else might have some fresh eyes.
Right.
I hope I'm making myself.
Yeah. So look, guys, I see everybody here. If you guys got these questions, ask them now
Yeah, be
because
asking.
we sit here, the information is good, but it's your chance to ask questions. It's your chance to give your voice out because a lot of people skip out. One thing I can circle back to when we talked about safety, the officers here have gotten raises multiple times. I
Right.
think they're about 48,000 now. Do
Woo.
you think? Right. And it's decent. We are competitive from what I can see looking around the state, and the size of city that we are. But do you think it would take more money to make this job more attractive for officers to stay? Or is it what, like you said, what's gonna be the honey to get officers to come to Brookhaven and stay in Brookhaven?
Stable leadership.
Okay.
And then it's a part on the officer. They got to be committed. See, that's one reason you have a little issue, you have a little danger, not danger, especially when the officer's not from here. You need more local police officers. When I was a police officer, I lived in Brookhaven. I mingled with the people in Brookhaven. Even in our patrol cars, we would get out, talk to people. If they having a barbecue, we finna eat. If they having some party or something, we up in there. And so it's about community in policing is what it is. And if I'm not from here, I don't care who you are. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what it is.
Okay, we got a
So
good question.
yeah, it says,
We got
what are the three things you will try and do within your first 4 years to improve the city?
try is a
Within
good
your
word.
first year.
Try is a
First,
good
your
First
word,
year.
first.
I'm sorry. Did I
Ryan.
say first year?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Try
First
is a
year.
good word, Ryan. Um, um, First thing is improve our safety, improve our police department with safety. Safety is going to be a main issue. And then improve on being as transparent and honest with our city, with our taxpayers as we can, and then use the taxpayers to help move Brookhaven forward. Use the citizens to help move Brookhaven, and not and don't cut folks off, cut folks out because they don't look like me. I'll be able to use everybody. I'll be able to be equal and fair to everybody. And Ryan, I hope that made sense to you. Any questions? Any y'all got anything? I mean,
Nah,
you
it
got to
didn't
be
pop
open.
up right off.
You
Yeah,
got
it
to be
didn't
open
pop
and
nothing right now.
honest with people, and so and that's what we are. If you ain't if you don't have good safety, you don't have good policing. Your city. Did y'all know that Brookhaven at one time was number 7 as one of the most dangerous cities to live in per capita? It was number 7, and that was pretty bad. Then it dropped to number 10 as one of the most dangerous cities in Mississippi to live in. Brookhaven.
And I hear you talking about your police and
Mm-hmm.
knowing your area. Do you have, or is there enough police that live in Brookhaven that you would even put or even suggest or even hire? And I'm not saying that you got to give names, but
Right.
the qualifications within the city, is there enough to make sure that there is the right amount ratio to police, shall
Right.
we
And
say?
that's where I think Colin has a criminal justice system, criminal justice class. Uh, Go in there, get involved. Go in there and do a lecture. Talk the chief of police. Go up there. Hey, look, I want to, come speak to your class about recruiting police officers. See who's local. Um, then have town halls or something to show that you can. Hey, look, this is about recruiting police officers. If you're 21 and older, please come, and if you're interested in applying for law enforcement. How many times have you seen that? Not many times. And so that's what we need. The way I got recruited, I got a ticket, and Buddy Harrison gave me a ticket. And when I went to pay the ticket at the police station, there was Irvin Robinson back there in the radio room, and he called me and said, "You want to be? Hey, you a joiner?" I said, "Yes, sir, I'm a joiner." He said, "Wait a minute," and he went and got the chief of police and brought him out there. He said, "Chief, this boy come from a good family. I think he'll make us a good police officer." He said, "What, did you want to be a police officer?" I said, "Yeah, I guess so. I'll be one." "Are you gonna be committed to this?" "Yes, sir, I'll be committed to it." "And can you cut your hair?" Because I had hair. He said, "Would you cut your hair?" I said, "Yeah, I cut my hair." He said, "Cut your hair, that means you're committed." And that's what I did. That's
Okay,
how
I
I
think
got.
we got another question.
We
Okay.
do. If elected, do you plan to start a planning committee to build more recreation activities for the kids and fix needed infrastructures in ignored areas? If so, how do you plan to do it?
Good
Okay.
question.
Good question. Yes, I plan to do a committee of planning, and see that's where we're missing out. We don't get the citizens involved. So a planning
Mhm.
committee to do look this, and then our plan ought not be for 1 year. We ought to have a plan. We ought to be able to do a 5-year plan or a 10-year
Mhm.
plan. You got to have it, and then the infrastructure in the neglected areas is ridiculous, because we still have some folks who have been annexed to the city are still without city water and sewer.
That
Right.
was the curious thing that Mr. Kane wrote. you just made me realize I haven't seen the City of Brookhaven social media page, so that could be um
A
that's
tool.
interesting. Yeah, that could
It,
be a
Mhm.
tool.
it could be a tool. Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So
Pastor Sterling said, go ahead.
Brother Harrison recruited him also.
Mhm.
Yeah, he did. That buddy was recruiting police officers, and because we trusted, Mr. Harrison was a police officer,
Mhm.
and that's how we got to be police officers. So now
And
let
I
me.
No,
go ahead.
Brian,
No, this
yeah, I
was
think
Ryan was talking about the Facebook, the social
Okay.
yeah.
media page. He's saying where did
That-
it go or where do people posting?
Okay. I don't know why they're not posting, but I'm telling you, you got to have a plan and you got to have a long range plan. You have to sit down, even with the board of aldermen with no audience. At some time, you have to sit there and say, what do we want our city to look like in 10 years?
Um, this is my guess because I
Yeah.
think I'm trying to answer this question from the other thing. I think Officer Clint Earls was running that social media page, and he's
Okay.
no longer with the department. So maybe nobody just picked up the mantle. I'm not sure. Maybe they did away with it after he left, or maybe he left with the passwords. Who knows? But and that could be a big tool to stop some misinformation from getting out. Because
Yeah.
just being honest, a lot of these little city crime groups and things like this post a lot of misinformation and a lot of inaccurate
Right.
Right.
information,
And some
and
of the
and
stuff
that's
that
got to
they,
stop.
some of the stuff that they post actually interfere with police officers doing their job. And so by see down there, they're backing it down. I don't post on it. Um, um, I got a question here. Where do you see Brookhaven
Mhm.
after your term, if elected? I see Brookhaven. Brookhaven has great potential. It does. It has great potential, but we do not use our resources, and so we've got to use our resources. We've got to use every resource we have to push Brookhaven forward and to make it greater than it is now. Uh, so I'm hoping that if my first term elected, um, I can see Brookhaven growing in every community. Or houses are now being built because I see that a lot of people say they can't find housing in Brookhaven.
Oh,
And so we need to do better than that. We need to do housing. See what kind of problem see what we can do by solving the housing problem. This is what the mayor and the board of aldermen does. Not just, and I know they have other responsibilities, picking up trash, limbs, all of that. But man, you have to sit down and do some planning time. Again, you have to ask, what do we want our city to look like in the next 10 years?
so let me ask you this.
Mhm.
It came up in one of those meetings as well. Uh, Trailer parks. Um, how do you feel about those? Whether they're problematic, or do we need less or more, anything like that? Like, because we seem to have a a top and a bottom when it comes to trailer park. There's no in between. They're either really, really good or they're really, really bad. So I guess kind of how do you feel about those trailer park that they changed the ordinance where you can't bring any single wide in anymore. You can only bring double wide in. But what do you think?
Well, I have no opinion um, in that area. And my thing is,
Gotcha.
I need to get in the office to
Mhm.
see how to do it.
With it.
And then again, Jarvis, I need people like a planning committee like you and other folks to sit down with. So, Ms. Mayor, we want to meet with you. Y'all come and meet with me. And what do y'all think about this?
Right.
What do you
And
how you feel about this? What's your
this is a
opinion?
good,
Right.
Yeah.
yeah, this is a good question. What does home seeker paradise look or and mean to you?
Homesick Paradise has changed tremendously.
It
It has.
has.
When I first was moved here and started working and living, it was super nice. Everybody got along. The community knew each other. Everybody knew everybody, even from your grandma. We everybody knew each other. It was a family city. It really was. but now it's changed because we've allowed ourselves to get out of source as it relates to crime, as it relates to being competitive with other cities. We've lost that. That kept us together. We've lost that family togetherness, and it's sad. And every time I move about Brookhaven, I feel the sadness that I see. And it wasn't like that at first. This was a good place to live. It was. I mean, folks got along. People policed themselves. They helped one another. They wasn't running around bashing and all that kind of stuff each other. They was working together. Do you all know how the first swimming pool got here? Do you know how the swimming pool got built down on Hamilton Street or Martin Luther King Street? Do you know how it got there? Folks in the community put their dimes and quarters and dollars together. And they saved that money until they was able to dig that swimming pool and put it in there. Then the city come in and help them with that direct department. So
You
this
walk,
is this is
you
where we
walk right
are.
into that. You
Yeah.
Yeah,
walk right
yeah.
into that one.
So the next one is Mr. Joyner. What are your thoughts about allowing businesses to stay open past midnight and bringing public pool back to Brookhaven? Yeah, you walked right into that
Yeah.
one.
The let me do the last one first. Bringing the public pool back to Brookhaven. We actually that can happen, but we got to have to do some other stuff first. We've got to clean up the crime. We got to clean up that because we don't want a pool or anything else to be a magnet that draws trouble.
Yes.
It shouldn't be. And so the other part of the question is I missed it. Um, um,
Uh, Staying open past midnight.
Um,
How everything closes so early. Like, are
well,
you in favor of it staying
man,
open a little late?
let me tell you this, on this. When I was out at police officing, folks stayed open because there was no trouble.
Yeah.
They stayed open. Man, we had more
that
juke
is
joints
true.
and clubs. They just stayed open because it wasn't any trouble. Staying open after midnight as far as businesses like grocery stores or stuff like that. I mean, you talking about the clubs, or you talking about liquor stores, or you talking about grocery stores? I think Walmart used to stay
Just
open
anything.
Yeah,
twenty-four
just
seven.
anything. Yeah.
Yeah, but it comes down to one thing:
Just anything.
Safety.
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 Yeah.
That's what it
Mr.
comes down to.
Thibodeau.
And here we go for the next question as you talk about safety.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said, do you think a
Safety.
city surveillance system is in high crime areas will help?
It will help. It'll help. It won't hurt to use every available resource you got to
It
help curb crime.
it
Yes.
actually is some new cameras in the city. They put them up. If you see those little domes with the
Right.
light on them, we
Right.
have some cameras. I don't know if anybody's watching them or how that works, but they added some cameras not long ago.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
But we need them not only in high crime areas, but you need them all
Right.
over the city.
Hmm.
Don't just
Right.
because you don't want to give folks the impression that you
hmm
favoring one. You're saying
right.
this group is bad and this group is good. This side is bad and this side is good. So you have to put them up everywhere, all over the
Right.
city. That's how you do that to make it balance. Does that make any sense? I hope it makes sense.
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
Okay.
They were
It
talking about a
did. It
training
did.
program for youth, like saying places run down, maybe
Right.
some type of training program for youth. Let's see what
Right.
else we got.
Um, open, oh, I can't even read that one. Initiating a
Are you
program
open
with
to
youth
initiating? Yeah.
in a building. Go ahead.
Initiating a
Building a
program.
system program
Oh,
Uh-huh.
I
or
get what you're
program for
saying.
troubled teens. Yeah.
So
Right.
basically giving them a chance,
Yes, I am.
to
I
do
am.
hmm
something different
I
besides
believe
what's
in
good.
another chance. I
That's good.
believe in another chance. I believe that if you change their environment and teach them how to control the environment they're in, how to handle the environment they're in, so I believe that you can give them another chance. Maybe you can talk to the courts and see if your program is good, if your program is right and doing the right thing. I don't see no problem in initiating that. Yes.
uh to go back to those trailer park questions, we have some on when we get Mr. Dunn Underwood on here, y'all please come back because he actually
Mhm.
wrote the ordinance for that. And like I said, I don't want to misquote, but I think if you take out a single wide, you can only bring back a double wide. You have to
Correct.
go up to the next level.
Right.
So
Right.
if you had a double wide, you got to put that triple wide there. You get what I'm saying? So,
Right.
and you have to be done a certain way. So
Correct.
Mr. Charlie Lewis, that kind of leaning toward what you said, and I think uh Miss Harris here. Um, it is double wides in the city, but if you already had a double wide, you can't put a double wide back.
No, you can't. You
If
can't.
that
You
makes
got to
sense,
move up. You have
you
to
got
move
to
up.
Right.
move up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's keep people from putting all these trashy trailers around and just
Right.
dragging another one in
Keeping
there,
it
patch,
upgraded.
Yeah. Yeah.
keeping it
Keep.
upgraded.
Yeah. Got to upgrade it. And then
Well,
don't just
there.
stick them in there and then do nothing to them. Beautify them.
Hmm. Yep.
Right.
Make them pleasant to look at. Because I'm telling you, this is what businesses drive by and look at.
That's right. Well, you talked about transparency. How do you feel about hosting town hall meetings?
That's my pet peeve. We'll be meeting at least once every other month. I'll be hey because I want to hear. My thing is you include help. You bring help when you recruit the citizens to help you. Then they can complain when they go wrong. They can only go, man, we did that, yeah. And so I will be holding a town hall meeting every other month. That's what I do to make sure that we're on track. Where we're going, I want to hear opinions. If I'm off track, say, Mr. Jones, you're off track. Let's help you get back on track. So town hall meetings will be great. And that was one of my things that I was going to speak about, holding them every other month, even with some of the aldermen. Get there, let's come on, y'all come on, because we're gonna hold this town hall meeting. That's what we're gonna do. But I'll be willing to host a town hall meeting by myself. Just stand there and hear it. Okay.
Well, Pastor Sterling wants to know, do you think the city and the county can coexist to a greater degree? Because we got some people annexing themselves, run, they getting out of here fast. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Yeah.
do you think that because mostly people still have resources and businesses in town, so they can't
Right.
technically leave town alone.
Right.
So it's still like that tension there.
I think that they could coexist even at a greater level than they are now. But you got to include them. You got to include the people. You just can't. Well, I moved out the county. Well, I won't talk to you no more. Blah blah blah. No, you got to include them. So I think we can coexist. We can work together. And a lot of the county and the city can coexist greater than we are now. I believe that we can come together. That's why you. That's why. Again, let me emphasize the fact. That's why you use the citizens, the taxpayers, to actually meet and talk. That's why you use them.
We're gonna give you this solo. We ain't got about 2 minutes left. You take
Okay.
us out of here. So whatever you got to add or whatever you want to end us off with, that's up for you.
Okay. Well, thank you again for letting me come and share with you. I'm here to seek the office of mayor. I believe I can do the job. Matter of fact, I know I can do the job. I believe that the mayor's office ought to be a people's office instead of just my office. I believe that the mayor ought to be a people's person. He ought to be able to get along with everybody, regardless of their walk of life. And so I'm seeking this because I believe that Brookhaven can be greater than it is now. I believe that we can put forth the effort of uniting instead of dividing. And so I'm asking you from the bottom of my heart, to please vote. Number one, register and please vote, and then consider me that you may vote for me. My name is Larry Joyner. I come from a family of 15 children. I know about unity. I love because I am love. And I thank you so much, Jarvis and Zandra and Jennifer, for allowing me to come in and share this. I'm glad that y'all didn't let me keep on talking because I just showed you my passion about Brookhaven and what I see.
We-
But I
You
know we
can
can
come
make it
back.
better.
This look, it ain't closed. We can come back right before April. I think a lot of people are planning to come back right before the date of April. We may have to throw some extra shows in there right before April 1st. So we kind of anticipating it.
Well, come on back. I'll be willing to come back anytime you'll have me.
Yes.
So just all you got to do is set the time, and whatever I'm doing, I'll cut that out to make sure I'll be on this show. How about that?
Thank you. Thank you, Tiffany. We appreciate that. All right, y'all. We offer here till next week. Miss Jordan, hold on one second. We will holler at you, but next week
Okay.
we'll get with y'all.
Okay.
Goodbye.